Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to episode 140 of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, Executive Editor of Total Retail. I'm joined today by Anthoula Madden, Chief Digital Officer of Pladis Global, the parent company of Godiva. We're going to be discussing how the chocolate brand is using technology to help it become more customer-centric. Thanks for joining me, Anthoula.
It's a pleasure to be here.
For Godiva, what does it mean when in the intro I mentioned being customer-centric? What does that mean for the Godiva brand?
Yeah, so customer centricity is really the way we want to transform our business model to always start from the customer need and then to be able to deliver that in a seamless way. So what does that really mean? We want to be able to understand our consumers, understand what they want and how they feel about our products, and then to be able to deliver them in a seamless way across a whole diversity of channels, whether those are our boutique stores, whether it's online, whether it's through another e-commerce engine, whether it's in a large store. So we need to be able to provide a seamless experience to the consumer, depending on what their requirements are. Is it a gifting opportunity? Is it a self-indulgence? So we want to be able to understand all those need states and respond to them, and also engage consumers in a dialogue in terms of what do they like about our product, how can we improve, how can we enhance, how can we personalize some of the gifting opportunities. So it comes back to what does our consumer want, and then realign our business model, our supply chain, our strategic partnerships to deliver, regardless of channel, to the consumer where they need it and what they need in a completely seamless way.
Yeah, so that's a good segue to this next question I have around sort of the challenges in achieving that goal of customer centricity. You mentioned that Godiva is engaging and interacting with its customers in multiple channels. So what are the challenges with that? Is it, is data and kind of, having that single view of the customer a challenge? What are some of the things that you struggle with as you look to become more customer centric?
Yeah, clearly we've embarked on a digital transformation journey, but we're still in the process of, if you like, realigning our whole technology architecture to be able to grab all the data across channels, across different media, and help us turn it into something that is meaningful so that we have a much deeper understanding of our customers and consumers. So the challenge is that having the right tools and the right information translated into, the right way to create insight for the business in product innovation, in supply chain execution, and then across the channels we're delivering through. So trying to turn that, if you like, into a slick machine, but also build up our internal knowledge and understanding of consumers, consumer segments, and consumer needs is an ongoing maturity process. And we are on this journey, but we still have a lot to learn and we still have a lot to integrate. But of course, we are fully committed to the fact that we need to be completely consumer-centric and be able to execute across a whole diversity of channels.
You mentioned the tools to help you address some of those challenges, particularly around kind of that single customer view. So Godiva is working with SAP and some other technology solutions. Can you talk about the role that technology plays as you kind of embark on this customer centricity project?
Sure. I mean, the ability to execute seamlessly requires a lot of agility across our business. So the first thing is we would like, and we're in the process of implementing a digital core, which is cloud-based and which will allow us to have a common solution across our business that gives us a common data model, and then enable us to integrate both internal and external data to make some sense of what consumers want through which channels, what are they buying, what are their preferences, but then also integrate a whole diversity of external data, and which we want to do through creating a data warehouse and a data lake for the unstructured data. And by that I mean, social media, Facebook data, YouTube data, blogs, other things where consumers and customers engage to give us feedback or comments or express, desire or interest in our brand. We need to be able to take that and turn something meaningful for the business. So synthesizing all of that data in a harmonized way requires, one, the digital core, but then a sophisticated BI and analytics engine on top of that aggregates this data and turns it into insight. And then the next learning process is insight to action. How do we make that insight then meaningful in terms of R&D, product development, merchandising, and how we deliver an experience, and not just the product, through our channels, through our boutiques, through our cafes. So that's an ongoing learning process, but technology is a key enabler of that.
Yeah, that's a your last point you hit on there. I wanted to maybe touch on a bit more. Is you've gone to the great extent and great lengths to collect this data and sanitize it and make sure it's manageable and segmented. But then, kind of the second piece of that is being able to then draw insights from that data and put it into action. Is there maybe an example of whether it be a marketing campaign or some merchandise initiative or some other social campaigns that you've kind of have been the result of those data insights that you've gleaned?
Yes. So for example, I'm not sure if you saw it, but about I think it's about 6 months ago, at Godiva, the Masterpieces campaign, where we've now launched our products not just in our boutiques but also in supermarkets. And here in the UK, we've got an exclusive partnership with Sainsbury's, where for the next few months we're showcasing some of our tablets, some of our new products in the Sainsbury's supermarkets. So for that, we've used YouTube, we've used Facebook, and sort of a bunch of other social media to create that experience and campaign, as well as traditional TV channels as well, to showcase the new product, the experience it tries to convey, and kind of how our product has been updated to be relevant to the consumer segments that buy our chocolate through those channels. And of course, Facebook and YouTube and some of those channels give us feedback on the interaction of the consumers with our campaign, and that enables us to see who does it appeal to, how is it, how is the uptake in terms of interest, in terms of the experience it's conveying, some of the cultural nuances across markets. So it's something we can take to improve, I guess, one, our next digital campaign, but also in terms of the packaging and presentation, our product, our brand, and our experience in the context of that feedback we're getting on an ongoing basis from the social media, the e-commerce, and other channels.
So let's talk a little bit about the business benefits and goals that Godiva has set. As you mentioned, some of the technology solutions that you've put into place. What are some of the goals and business benefits that you hope to see from those technologies? So
I suppose the first benefit is the deeper understanding of the consumer. Because from that, sort of we can then tailor the experiences we want. We can tailor our products, our packaging, and even the ranges we have under the umbrella of each brand. In this case, Godiva. How do we sort of decide our sort of brand and product portfolio on the basis of the insight we're now getting, and how do we tailor? I mean, to give you an example, we had to tailor the ad we used in Europe and in the US culturally. There were some modifications we needed to do, and that's kind of feedback from social media, for example. So these are some of the benefits. How can you be more targeted, more focused, more relevant? And then also by understanding at a deeper level the consumer segments that are engaging, we can then ensure we're tailoring our products and our experiences we're providing to those specific segments. So it gives us insight to basically refine, if you like, and evolve our product, our experience, and the overall brand portfolio on the basis of that insight. And the other one is accelerating the time to market. Once we get that insight, we can then accelerate time to market. So Yes, there's a whole bunch of benefits. Then we can start predicting demand. So this is an evolution. We're not there yet in terms of, predictive analytics of demand, but that would be the next evolution. So the first thing is gather the data, understand, start adapting product and experience to consumer segments. The next one would be, start doing some more predictive analytics around demand, which channels make more sense, margin management in a better way when you've got a visibility across channels. So there's a whole bunch of, if you like, incremental value once we hone these skills around how do we take and interpret data.
Yeah, I would imagine, as you mentioned, more focused, more relevant, more targeted, that hopefully that it correlates eventually to higher customer lifetime value as well.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So exactly the long-term loyalty, at the end of the day, the long-term loyalty of consumers and customers to our brand is down to relevance and engagement and resonance. So the more relevant we are, the more up-to-date we are, the more it resonates with what they want and their lifestyle. Clearly, the long-term loyalty of those customers is what we are after, and their engagement with our brand.
So then my final question, Anthoula, is what advice would you have for other brands and retailers as they work to become more customer-centric, whether it be new technologies that they're integrating into their businesses, organizational structure, some other thoughts around advice that you might have for other brands and retailers?
Yeah, sure. I guess kind of reflecting on the journey we've sort of done to date and where we're heading, digital transformation is quite a broad umbrella. So I think you need to be focused and deliberate. What are some of the foundational blocks you need to be able to start? For that I mean, the digital core. You need an engine to run the business that's consistent and that's cloud-based so that you can be more agile and you can also share data more easily with partners. Then the next step is the analytics engine and beginning to build that knowledge and interpretation, but you need the tools to do that. And then building the skills and capability to interpret and build that experience. So I guess my message is don't try to boil the ocean. This is a big program, and there's so many different dimensions to it. So I think you need to take quite deliberate steps, and also you can't go for perfection. You just need to maybe pick a brand and say, right, we'll try and apply these tools and these techniques and this insight to this brand initially, say Godiva. Then once we build that experience, then we'll apply it to McVitie's. But we need to take this step by step. It's quite a complex universe, both in terms of the tool set, but also in terms of the knowledge, understanding, and building up skills and capability. But you need to start somewhere. It's almost like you need to jump in the water. You need to start doing something. But, start with MVPs, focus it so that you get some learning and then you apply that and then you scale it. If you try to do everything and be everything to everybody, I think there's a risk you don't achieve anything or it's too much and then the business just can't cope with it. And there needs to be a very deliberate upskilling and capability building as you sort of go on this journey so that you are beginning to internalize some of these skills and then build them up to the next level. So I guess that's just a step-by-step, deliberate, don't go for perfection, MVPs, learn, test, try again, if you like.
Well, I think that's very sound advice. So I want to take this opportunity to thank Anthoula Madden of Pladis Global, which again is the parent company of Godiva, for joining me today. Please check out our podcast channel page, mytotalretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher, but make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. Thanks, and I look forward to you joining us on the next episode of Total Retail Talks.